Happy Saturday, everyone. This is, I'm just going to be front with all of you. This is a rather emotional day for me. It is. It's actually, you know what, I'll be honest. Back when I first started making videos, this is the day I thought would never happen. In fact, in a way, doing all those videos was a way to make sure it would never happen. But before I get into that, actually, can you see the water? Yeah, you can see the water behind me. Okay. I was worried you couldn't see the water behind me. Actually, you can see underneath my chair, I guess. And I know it's not necessarily the prettiest looking day, but in a way, I guess it's kind of fitting for how I'm feeling right now. So, at least after y'all hear what I have to say, you're going to be looking at something pretty. I can give you that at least. Before I get into it though, I do want to say one thing. Like, everything I do in a video, everything I do throughout the day, my low, my high, my act of kindness, the things I do, the things I talk about, all those things. Ever since I started doing that, way back on January 1st, 2018, I grow to love this more and more. And when there are those who have always shown support, or are rooting for me, or got my back, if you will, it makes it all the more worth it. I only ask that if you wanted to give me a little extra support, please do. Because emotionally, I'm probably going to need it today. I don't even know where to start. Well, I know I've probably talked about this far too much than I have to. And I'll probably be bringing this up later in December when I do that series of videos again. But in January of 2022, the unthinkable happened. And I got my heart broken. And for the next 8 months, I constantly let that heartbreak dictate how I feel. It took 2 very beautiful weddings to snap me back out of it and reignite some hope in me again. And from that point on, I no longer let that heartbreak dictate how I feel. And to this day, I still don't. I like to believe that in all of 2023, not once has that happened. For that reason alone, this year is already better than 2022. But now it's come full circle. The girl who broke my heart is getting married today. And there's nothing I can do about it. If any of you watching this have ever experienced heartbreak, then I'm absolutely positive you can agree with me on the fact that it sucks. It absolutely sucks. You don't know how it ends. You never know if you're going to find happiness again. You'll never know if you'll find that someone again. And for me, this was a someone who I'd known for many years. That for my entire life, there were so many opportunities where I could have at least talked to her, but I never did when I should have. Or we were at family events where I could have, where, you know, both of our families were at, and I could have talked to her then, but I just couldn't. So trust me, I'm giving myself a good amount of blame here. At least 10%. I'll explain why. See, growing up as a Catholic, because this girl was also Catholic as well, or is also Catholic, we go to church in Corning. She and pretty much everyone else I knew in Horseheads, specifically those who went to St. Mary Mother, go to church in Horseheads, specifically at St. Mary Mother. So needless to say, I've never been the biggest fan of going to church. And when you associate something you don't really like to do with a city you go to do that thing, you wind up not really liking the city very much. So I'm sorry to say, I can't quite say I'm not the biggest fan of the city of Corning. I'm not going to say I outright hate that city, because there are some beautiful things in that city. I mean, the Corning Museum of Glass, obviously, the Smithsonian Museum of Western Art, or Modern Western Art, Market Street, of course. It's a great city, and, you know, I may not be giving enough, I never cut enough slack. There's some great people in the city of Corning. But growing up, I didn't know anyone. I was literally in a giant building, the church that is, full of complete strangers with only, like, my family that I knew. Which, don't get me wrong, family is arguably the most important thing in life. Oh, actually, it is the most important thing. I shouldn't say arguably, it is the most important thing in life. But when you're with your family every week, you kind of want a little something else, don't you think? Like, see someone else that you know. And that never happened. And if I never saw anyone I knew from Horseheads at Corning, I certainly never saw her. In fact, the one time I ever got a chance to talk to her was when I first moved to the city of Elmira. And one night I went to Bernie Murray's, and this girl happened to be waitressing there. And we got to reconnect. And for once, in my entire life, that was the first time I think I ever felt truly happy seeing her again. Or was seeing her again, that is. And I would go to Bernie Murray's every week just to see her. As well as have the really good wings, of course. But she was top priority. She was worth it. And then the pandemic started. The very last time I saw her was just a few days before quarantine started at Bernie Murray's. To this day, the one thing I truly regret saying is not telling her. Well, actually, the one thing I truly regret is not telling her to stay safe. And when the time is right, I'll come find you. I should have said that. I don't know if it would have made a difference now, but I'd feel a little bit better about today. And I'm trying to think over why this heartbreak, this feeling of heartbreak has lasted for as long as it has. Because for all intents and purposes, it's been over a year and a half. You know, surely I'd be over something like this by now, right? Especially when all throughout high school, you know, I was not getting rejected per se, but to put things into perspective of, by the time I was a senior in high school, I was, for all intents and purposes, a top 3 overall athlete. A 200-plus pound man who could run a sub-6 mile. Not many people could ever say they could do that. I'm a lot smaller now than I was then, but again, over 200. Actually, I think I might have been like 220, and I could run a sub-6 mile. Not to mention, I was the best singer in that entire school by the time I was a senior. You would think at least one girl would be a little interested. And I will admit, I don't handle rejection well. I don't like being told no. So maybe it was supposed to be my job to ask them out, but I couldn't do that. I'm not shy. I just don't want to be heard no, okay? But I also know for a fact why, you know, not many girls would ever want to be with me then. And before I continue, this girl, the one who broke my heart, she went to a different school than I did, so maybe she never would have known, I don't know, but here it is. It was because back when I was in 7th grade, my parents put me in special ed. Before it was revealed that what I really have is depression and something called pragmatic communication disorder. I was put in special ed for mistakenly being put on the spectrum, which isn't true. Again, I have depression and pragmatic communication disorder. And for several years, it was bad for me. Really bad. I really was on the verge of committing suicide. Because I couldn't live with the fact that I was on the spectrum. At the time, that is. I'm not, though. It took the unfortunate death of one of my brothers at Trinity Polling, as well as all of the rest of my brothers coming together. And that time, excuse me. That saved my life. I'll talk more about that in December. From about December 14th, 2008 on, I went my entire life just simply going through the motions. Not having a clue what I'm doing. There were some successes, to be sure. You know, I became a nationally certified phlebotomist for a while, even though it wasn't really something, even though it was something my mom made me do. I I graduated from Gettysburg College with a bachelor's in health sciences. And I am probably the only man on the face of the earth who has ever done the 100-mile Tour de Cuca and do the Wine Glass Marathon back-to-back 4 years in a row. And keep in mind, the Tour de Cuca and the Wine Glass Marathon aren't even 3 months apart from each other. I did that. So to say that I completely blew away the expectations of any doubters, I know I never give myself enough slack for that, but I like to think, yeah, I did it. And now nobody can ever say I could never do it, because I did. But in the end, it wouldn't mean nothing without anyone by my side. You know what they always say, behind every great man, there's an even greater woman. And this girl she was it. And here's the ironic thing. The idea that I should go out with her wasn't originally my idea. It was actually my mom's. Ironically, the one good idea my mom ever had, actually. And she changed her mind about that. Before I get into why that is, I should probably get into why, I never really told her how I felt. Because when I first started, trying to see her every week at Bernie Murray's, believe me, when I first moved to Elmira, she really helped me transition into living there. And she was the first person I saw. And keep in mind, I didn't see anyone from the Horseheads area, or for that matter, Elmira, Notre Dame area, in forever. She was the first person I saw. When my twin nephews were first born, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. She was the first person I told. She was the first person to actually see their picture. Outside of the family, of course. I know I shouldn't have done that, but you know what? Forget it. It was worth it, because she was worth it. When my grandfather passed away, she consoled me. And then the pandemic started. And because the vaccine didn't exist then, I was given an ultimatum. I could go out, try and find her, tell her how I feel, risk getting COVID. But whether or not I get sick from COVID or not, if my brother and my mother found out, I'd never be allowed to see my nephews ever again. I chose my nephews for the belief that maybe I would see her again. But sadly, at some point during the pandemic, she found her someone. And it wasn't me. And what makes matters worse, her grandfather also died during the pandemic. To this day, it kills me that I couldn't return the favor. Because remember, I just said she consoled me when my grandfather died. I couldn't return the favor. I finally got around to see her again for the first time around 4th of July weekend. And remember when I said my mom changed her mind about me being with her? Keep in mind, I was mad at my mom for putting me in special ed, as well as a whole bunch of other stupid things she's caused in my life. So naturally, I was never going to acknowledge that she was right about about me going out with this girl. Even if she was right about that, I was never going to acknowledge it. The reason why my mom changed her mind was because of this girl's personality. You know, she comes across as kind of snooty, stuck up, you know, nose in the air sort of person. And when I first saw her for the first time since the pandemic, this past 4th of July weekend, I could kind of see what my mom was talking about. I'm not going to say that my mom was right, but I'm not going to say that my mom was wrong either. And maybe she is right, per se, but heartbreak is still heartbreaking. Again, if you've ever experienced heartbreak, then you know how horrible it is. I love how the sun is starting to shine a little bit. As if there's hope to this, to what I'm saying here. Well, you know, maybe there is. Because maybe it's about time I let this go. It's hard. And trust me, I don't think this pain's ever gonna go away. But damn it, I have to move on. Otherwise, I may never see what's potentially right in front of me. Because since then, there's someone I actually have developed feelings for. And for months, I wanted to ask this girl out. I've been going completely stir crazy since. It's absolutely killing me that I haven't seen her in months. I mean, I'm not going to stalk her. Good Lord, I'm not going to do that. You know, and listen, if there's one thing you need to know about me is I would always treat a lady with respect. Lord forbid anyone ever sees that, though. So believe me, if I see this new girl, the one that I really want to ask out, believe me, I really do hope she says yes. Because, well, here's the thing. I just mentioned, I hate being told no, especially when, God forbid, at least one woman actually say yes. And the one thing I can say is, if she winds up saying no, I can take a little bit of pride in the fact that it has nothing to do with my past. It has nothing to do with what happened in high school. It has nothing to do with all the accomplishments I did. You know, we're just two people. I'm a guy. She's a girl. I'm asking her out. In full disclosure, I totally think she's going to say no. I wholly believe she's going to say no. I'm just holding out. I'll hope that I'm wrong. But at least if she says no, I'll be able to say, you know what? It's not as bad as the heartbreak I'm feeling right now. Because, it's hard. It's real hard. I'm sorry if this video is a little, on the sad side for you. So, I want to end this with something I've always done around Valentine's Day. Because if there's ever one day where I, of all people, should feel the most depressed, it's then. Because it's kind of hard to enjoy Valentine's Day without, a woman by your side, right? Or that special someone by your side, I should say. Sorry, I'm sure there's some people who maybe are gay and maybe you want, your man by your side or whatever. No. What I'm trying to say is this is advice that really anyone can follow. If you're feeling sad because of the fact that no one's with you, do your best to try and find the beautiful things in life. I've got plenty of friends who are married and together. Some even have kids. And I can tell you right now, I find that so beautiful. And that makes me happy. Sorry. Especially when, for many years, I went from contemplating suicide to being on the verge of contemplating suicide to going to a wedding thinking, that's never going to be me up there. Now thinking, you know what? Someday. Someday that's going to be me. And when that happens, for anyone who always had my back, anyone who was rooting for me, to as many of my brothers as I could possibly invite, I'd have everyone be there to see me get married. Because they would all see the guy that they root for made it and found happiness. I truly do believe, in my heart of hearts, that's going to happen. And I know, at the end of the day, even if things go well, I asked this girl and she says yes, it won't be a cure-all for depression. I have to make my own happiness. I know that, I understand that, and believe me, I respect that. But I'm 33 years old, and I've never even known what it's like to hold a woman's hand. So, I would like to believe things would be a little better. And maybe I can work from there. My mom's always believed that if I put my mind to something, I can do it. I may have disagreed with her on a lot of things, but I'd be okay saying she'd be right about that. Thanks for, if you actually watched for this long, thank you. Sorry this was, kind of emotional for me. So, I guess my plan for today, considering what's happening today, is the only thing I can do. Go about my day as normal. Because I got family, I got my nephews, who I chose to be with. I know sometimes they're a little rambunctious, I know they're a handful, but you know what? I get to see them grow up. And it's honestly the one thing that narrowly edges out the heartbreak for me. So, again, thanks for hearing out while I was rambling. I had to get this off my chest, though. It's going to be a rough day for me. But hopefully, by the end of this weekend, I'll be ready to move on. To the girl who's about to get married today, obviously I wish you all the happiness in the world. I did meet the guy that she's about to marry, and he's actually a really cool guy, so I can't even be upset by that. He's actually a really cool guy. I can't even be upset by that, seriously. He's actually a really cool guy. Nice guy. I can't complain. So, I wish you all the happiness in the world. May you have the time of... I hope you have the time of your lives tonight. And I hope you have the time of your lives for the rest of your lives. To all the rest of you, I hope you all at least heard out what I had to say. And trust me, my content gets a lot more positive, upbeat, and less emotional than this. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, or follow me on social media. As always, though, I am very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hoping we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. And no matter how I'm feeling, no matter where I am, 607 all day, baby. Actually, hold on. I want to get one shot of the lake. Hold on, let me. Sorry, I gotta move the chair out of the way. There we go. You know what I have to say? I'm feeling a lot better. I didn't mean for the clouds to start parting and the sun to be out, but you know what? Maybe that's a sign that things are going to be better. Take care.